Hey everyone. Man, I am losing my voice. This is why I'm not at school today. Um, Today we are going to talk about domain and range. Domain is the x values. Range is all the y values of a function. Um, the domain describes the width of a relation, like how wide something is, and the range describes the height of a relation, how tall something is. Determine if each relation is a function using the vertical line test. All right. We also are going to talk about open circles and closed circles. So this is an open, this is a closed, and a closed circle. Most of our points are closed circles. Like all of these are closed circles, and it means that that value, that point, is included. All right, so a closed circle means that the value is included, like included in the answer or included in the solution. An open circle means that value is not part of the solution. So basically, if I have an open circle, I'm going to be using symbols that do not have an equal to. So this would be like greater than or less than. And if I have a closed circle, it means it does include that point. So I'm going to use greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this. So I've got these papers here for domain. Domain runs along the x-axis. So when we're finding the domain of a function, we want to find how wide it is. So we're going to squeeze in from the sides until we get to the widest part, right? So, and we're reading off the x-axis. So here and, oops, and here. And we're saying, we're going to write our domain like this. We're going to say all the x values are in between these two numbers, okay? So my two numbers here are negative 1, 2, 3, that's negative 4, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's positive 4. So we're going to say all of our x values are in between negative 4 and positive 4. But this circle's closed, so it actually does include negative 4. So I'm going to put an equal to sign with it. Since this circle is open, it doesn't include that point. It goes all the way up to 3.999, but it does not include the point 4. Okay? So that's domain. You're squeezing in from the sides to look at all the x values that this line touches, because this line, it touches all of these x values because it goes between here and here. Okay? All right, range, we're reading off the y-axis. So I'm going to write range. And a range is all y values between two numbers. All right, so to find the range of this function, I'm going to go from the top and the bottom and squeeze in until you touch the function. Here we go. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's negative 5. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's positive 5. So for my range, and we always go, because these are less than symbols, right? These are less than symbols. So we're going to say all my y values are in between this number and this number. So this has to be the smallest number. So I'm going to say my y values are in between negative 5 and positive 5. right? Because that's how tall this function is. And at -5, that's a closed circle. So I'm going to put the little equal to sign. And then over here, that's an open circle, so we leave it without the equal sign. So here's how we would write it. The domain is all the x values from -4 to +4. The range is all the y values from -5 to +5. This one is a function. It passes the vertical line test. And also, it is continuous because I can draw this graph without picking up my pencil. Okay? If I look at this whole sheet, this one's continuous, this one's continuous, this is continuous, this is continuous, this is discrete because they are disconnected. Okay? All right, let's take a look at this one. So I need to find my domain, my x values. I need to find my range, my y values. And I do a quick vertical line test, and sure enough, this one is a function, and it's all connected, so it is continuous. All right, so I'm going to do domain first. I'm going to get my domain markers, all right? And I'm just going to squeeze in from the side. So over here, and guys, none of these are going to be in between, all right? Just consider the dots are really big and fat, so just consider that on the whole number, okay? So that goes right there. But this one has an arrow, and arrows keep on going. So I can't even have this one on there. It just keeps on going. So that means I'm going to say all my x values are greater than, that's a -2. So I got a little ahead of myself. I'm going to scribble this one out. I'm going to say all of my x values are greater than or equal to, right, because it's closed in, -2. Because all my x values, this is going in the positive direction, right? So then for my y's, for my range, I've got my ranges here. So I'm going to go from the bottom first. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, -5. And then on the top, again, there's an arrow, so I don't have a top boundary. I just have this bottom boundary. So this, I messed up again. So I'm going to say all of my y values are above -5. So I'm going to use a greater than sign. All of my y values are greater than or equal to -5. Okay. Tell you what, let's go up here in this corner and we'll write a couple more notes. So this is greater than. This is less than. And then this is greater than or equal to. Less than or equal to. Oop, there we go. All right. When you're typing your domain and range on your assignment, it has a little bit different format. It says domain x, right? Because it's the x values. And then we have a fancy bracket. And then we say -4 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 4. So we just have it in the fancy brackets. And that's how you normally will see it. So I'm going to have this whole thing ready for you to copy and paste. That way, the only thing you have to change is this and then the numbers. So the x's should be the same, right? You're either going to have x's in both places for domain, or you're going to have y's in both places for range. and then you just change the numbers, okay? I'll also give you the symbols, one with an equal to and one without, so that you can change the symbols if you need to, but it'll all be something you can copy and paste. All right, so let's look at discrete. Discrete is a little bit different because we can't say that it touches all the x values in between this point and this point because it doesn't. There's a gap right here, so it doesn't touch any of those x values. So instead, we're just going to make a list of the x values that it does touch. So I'm going to say domain, and it touches here, 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 and here. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3. We like to write our answers in order from least to greatest. Oh, those are all negative. My bad. So -3, -2, -1, and 0. So whenever you have a discrete function, right, your graph is disconnected and your domain and range is disconnected, and it's just a list of those individual values. All right, for range is y, so we're going to be reading off the y-axis. So I've got right here, I've got right here, here, and here. So that is going to be ranges y values. So that's going to be -3, -1, 1, and 3. This does pass the vertical line test, so this one is a function. Okay. All right, let's scan through here, pick another one. I'm looking for something specific. Oh, I don't see it on here. We've got it. This one has an arrow. This one has an arrow. All right, let's do that one. All right, we're going to do this one with an arrow. So domain is my x values. So I'm going to take my domain color strips and I'm going to squeeze in from the side until I touch the graph. And there we go. So this one's kind of weird. It only touches one domain value. It only touches one x value. So, and that x value is -1, 2, 3, -4. So since it only touches one x value, and it does touch on that one, right? So that's going to be just x equals -4. That's the only x value we have is -4. For the range, we're going to get my range strips here, and I'm going to squeeze from the top and the bottom. So I can stop right here on the bottom, but on the top, that's an arrow. Arrows keep on going, so I can't have a paper there. Down here on the bottom, I'm reading off the y-axis for range, right? Here's your x, here's your y. So for my range, that's 1, 2, 3, that's -4. And all my y values are above -4. So all my y values are greater than -4. And notice this is an open circle. So open circles do not have the underline, all right? So if you needed extra ink to color in your closed circle, then you also need the extra ink to use a less than or equal to or the greater than equal to, right? So it's filled in, it gets the line. If it's not filled in, it does not get the line. All right, if I do my vertical line test, this one fails. This one is not a function because it has more than one x value on the same vertical line. And this one is continuous because it is connected, okay? All right, just a couple things I want to point out on something like this one. When you do domain, you're just looking at the two widest points, so here and here. This one is not counted. I mean, it's part of the domain because there's an x value there, but we just want the two widest points. And then for range, we're going from the bottom to the top. So we just need the lowest point and the highest point. So again, this point isn't important in the range, just the lowest point and the highest point. All right, same thing over here. Look at that squiggle. A line, a curved line, is full of points all the way along. So here's a point, here's a point, here's a point. A line is just made up of all of these points. So when you're finding range, you go until you touch the graph at all. So I'm going to stop right there at the top of that curve. All right. Even though it doesn't have a big fat dot like it does right here, that line is still made up of all kinds of dots. So there's a point right here. So the top of my graph is there. The bottom of my graph is here. All right. That line is solid and connected. So it includes all of those points. So those are all filled in points. So my range on this one is between my lowest value is -2. My highest value is +2. On my lowest value, I have an open circle here, but look, the line touches right there. So that point is included. So -2 is included right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do the underline. Same thing right here. It's included. So I'm going to do my little underline. All right. I think that's about all my voice can handle today. So good luck with this. Fill in on your Go Formative, and hopefully, guys, hopefully I will be back on Monday. I did go get a COVID test, and it is negative. I do not have COVID. I just have a cold or allergies or something else. All right, so I'll be okay. I'll be fine. I gotta get my voice back so that I can, yell at you guys some more. Just kidding. All right. Oh, hey, since we're talking about it, these are the Google Slides that I'm posting on for your notes. So I gave you these little boxes that you can move and kind of play with it and figure out what the domain and range is, and then you'll be able to move. Oh, you'll be able to move the gray box and the answer will appear. Okay, so that's what I'm going to have set up for you guys to kind of double check your answers on the Google Slides for the notes. Okay, all right, that's all I got for you. I'll see you Monday, hopefully.